everyone. Welcome to our first health center. I am Leila Liu. Today we will talk about some big questions like how to become healthier, happier, and more successful. I'm very honored to invite a professional counselor, Mr. Carl Holt. Please welcome. And I also have some friends here. This is Beth and this is Jeff. Okay. Hi. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Oh, good. Here I have a picture of my family. This is my dad and this is my mom. But unfortunately, I wanted to tell you, my dear friends, my dad and mom had passed on around 8 years ago. I feel so lonely. The same situation also happened with some other celebrities like Michael Jackson or Diana, some others. Do you think it's really pity because they're so young?
I think it's difficult when anyone dies before what normal age, old age, or when there's a sudden death for somebody whose life doesn't seem to be complete. I think it leaves the rest of us questioning kind of our purpose and questioning why do bad things happen to people who try to live good lives. Yeah,
I feel so sad every night when I'm thinking about them. I still cannot believe this. It's terrible. And I also have a picture I wanted to show you. This is about my grandma and me. Can you please show the picture? Because when before I came to the United States, my grandma is still alive. But next time when I come back to China, I can no longer see her. It's really pity.
It sounds like it's really just tough for you right now because you've gone through so many different changes and you've had a lot of losses.
Yeah, and every time when I'm thinking I'm going to die, eventually, someday, I feel so sad.
Well, I think that's one of the rules. I think one of the rules of being born is that we will die someday. And I think there's a difference between when somebody passes in an early stage of their life, when there's so much unfinished business, versus when somebody's completed part of the support for their family. And it sounds like in your grandmother's case that she helped support you to grow after your parents passed.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a different place than with your parents being as young as they were.
That means we have no other choice.
Well, there are choices, but I prefer this one. I prefer to live my life. I'm glad that you're choosing to live your life and carry on with your life. And you actually are part of your parents and your grandparents living on.
Yeah, I believe that. They will live in my body. Do you have the same feeling?
I do. I have problems with what do you do when you have I know everyone is afraid of dying. What do you do when you have what I would consider to be sort of an unnatural fear of death, whether anyone around you has passed or not? Just thinking about it can set me off having an anxiety attack. I witnessed my father-in-law pass away, some other people as well, but that was someone very close to me and was actually at his side when he passed away, and that made it much worse than it had been even before.
One of the first things I want to say is for you to be present with somebody in their passing is you stepping beyond your fear, and it is quite an honor that you chose to go beyond your fear because of your love.
Yes. And
that your love was greater than your concern for your own well-being and what comes after our life here. And is there within you something, and do you need to look at your own belief system and your own thoughts about where do we go? I mean, there's so many questions. Is there a soul? Is there not a soul? Is there karma? Is there reincarnation? There's so many big questions that go along with being here on this planet and being born that really to look at what happens from here has kept many philosophers writing many books, and it's going to be much larger than the picture that we're going to be able to paint here today.
That's the second question of mine. Do you think will our soul exist beyond our body. I really hope there is a soul so I can live forever.
You know, it's very interesting because in my capacity as a counselor, I work with people to try to help them understand what they truly believe under it all. And many times there's been people of very traditional faiths who've come to me and initially been somewhat reluctant to share some of their thoughts, or been concerned that I would judge them because whether they have a fundamental Christian faith or whether they have some other faith system that has very strict rules, they're concerned that in some way that I'm not going to be able to relate to them. And I think that how we do our path, and this is me personally in my own philosophy of kind of how I can work and how I can be in my life, I do believe there's something greater than us. I'm not sure what it is.
Okay.
I'm not sure how to define it. I think that many people have tried for many years to create a picture of what that greater thing is. Everything from an old man sitting in a chair to different idols and different aspects. So it's actually one of the reasons in my study, one of the reasons I became a creative arts therapist was because I believe that creativity helps bring us into the moment where we are in connection with something that's greater than ourselves. Because it goes from nothing. You have your blank page, you have a blank canvas, and eventually you create something from nothing. And that thing that you create is an aspect of you. It's from inside of you. Yeah. It's from your own sense of who you are.
Yeah, the creativity helps.
Creativity.
Yeah, because my grandma, when she going to die, she thought she can go to heaven because she was a Christian. That really helped her to deal with the suffer. Yeah.
Yeah, people's belief system, there's been a lot of research about meditation and mindfulness and holistic healing paths, and the hard thing with a lot of our ways of healing or dealing with stress is that it's not as clinically measurable as us Westerners like to have it. Our Western society wants to have everything so we can measure a consistent reaction to medicine or a consistent response to a specific treatment. And that's one of the reasons that cognitive behavioral therapy has been shown to be helpful in certain situations so many times, doing certain steps, and yet you can't match somebody's their sense of calm and their sense of peace when they meditate. It's subjective.
Okay.
And
this is different from the Chinese culture because I come from China. We have a little bit different system to back up. But I also have another question. This is also very important for everyone. What is the meaning or the target of life? We're just trying our best to enjoy the life, to achieve certain level of success, or
gee, I don't know. Are you asking me that because I'm the older person here? Is that what this is?
That's a pretty big question.
You need to help us. Yeah, because sometimes I think it's so hard to work so hard. I just need to relax, to enjoy my life. I do not want to be a so successful person because you can only sleep 3 to 4 hours per day suffering.
But maybe that comes down to what you've defined success to be.
Yeah, that's my another question.
But if you define success to be material wealth or fame, or if it's where you live or what you possess, then you sacrifice other components of your life. And we find that just because you have more doesn't necessarily mean that you have fulfillment or peace within you.
Or happiness. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and recently, to tell the truth, China kind of have a profit or fame-driven culture. So everyone worked very hard to obtain more money or a better material environment. But it's hard to say they're happier or than before.
And you know, to bring up the old cliche, they say, you know, money doesn't buy happiness, and I think that's, you know, something I try to live by. You know, just because you have money doesn't necessarily mean that you're happy, and just because you're successful doesn't mean you're happy. You could be a billionaire but be lonely. So it's a personal thing that I strive for, is to be happy in my life, not necessarily being dependent on being successful.
Yeah, so we need to redefine success. It doesn't mean you have the highest level of achievement or you have the most money, but also you are a happy person.
Right.
You can be useful for others.
When I made a decision to return to school, I was almost 40 years old.
Oh, good.
And when I did that, I had to, as I went on in my school career, I had to stop working full-time because I had to devote more time to school. I had to start juggling around part-time jobs, and each year that I've been in school, my income has gotten lower and lower and lower.
I understand.
And I'm almost finished, but especially this past year, financially, it's been horrible. But at the same time, I've achieved so much at school, and now I'm looking to go on to graduate school. And this is the happiest I've been in my 40 years. And I can't pay my phone bill, but I'm very, very happy personally.
Oh, good. I also have the similar experience because I'm 30 years old now. I have the same situation, but sometimes it's still difficult for me to have a academic successful situation here. And the next question is, what is health?
Oh.
Yep.
Well, that's a big question too, isn't it? And it's certainly a lot of different people have defined health in a lot of different ways. I think one of the things that's really interesting is that there has been more research that has supported that a balanced lifestyle, including meditation or some sense of mindfulness, contributes to an overall healthier person. That when we are able to calm ourselves and calm our thinking, when we are able to find ways to have family support and be around those people who truly and genuinely care about us, those individuals are found to be more generally healthier within their lives and within their environments. They're more pleased.
That means I'm less healthy because I do not have my parents around me, and a little bit I miss my friends in China.
Well, you know, there are trade-offs for periods of time, and if you choose to live your life like this forever, then you may have longer-term consequences. I think one of the important things is that you are aware of some of the distress you're feeling, and then you reach out to others and talk about it and talk about your feelings. If you internalize those feelings, they'll create distress within you somehow. And that can lead to disease, whether it's physical manifestation of disease or whether it's mental and emotional aspects of disease.
Yeah, but last week, because my paper was challenged by my professor, I could not stop crying. I thought I'm a strong person, but not at all. I cannot stop crying. I'm so freaky. Do you call it freaky? Do you think this is health? Is it healthy?
So why would it be unhealthy to cry?
Oh.
I had a very good friend who, when I was in my 30s, she was in her 70s. And I used to spend time with her, and we would talk and have conversation. And anytime there was a movie or anything that was kind of emotional, she would get very teary and cry.
Oh.
And she just said that the eyes are the windows to the soul, and she just washed her windows a lot.
Ah, beautiful. Yes. I love it. Okay. There are other person. They have some suggestions for us to become healthier, happier, and more successful. Maybe we can take a look at it. Okay.